never want to piss off Dave at all. But
I wouldn't. No, it's not even like you can't piss me off or anything like that. It was more. By the way, I forgot to start our recording. So yeah, this is another terrible podcast by comics. Whatever. Who knows? We ain't gonna upload this one. But yeah, no, she didn't even like. I just remember thinking it was funny because it was one of those people that. It's strange when there's people that I expect to get into Facebook beef or get huge egos or something like that. But there's times where it's like I watch somebody and I'm sort of, I don't know. It's like, not to make, this is not really a fair comparison, but it is like watching a dog think it's people. And that's really all I can compare it to. But yeah, so I'm glad, but yeah, like I said, if anything, just write jokes and find open mics wherever you got to stay. Cause yeah, you definitely, I'm sure you'll impress some people. All right. So, getting back to our questions here again. What's your average day like, Kristin?
Oh, me, it's kind of hard to gauge now. I mean, before the whole thing, it was very kind of normal. I try to maintain as much normalcy as possible. I'd wake up, I'd have my coffee, I'd go get breakfast. I had a restroom. I would, I'd usually go to the store to get like my milk and stuff, like have cereal. Then I'd just spend all day doing my homework. And it was kind of cool because we do have like regulars who scream a lot through the parking lots. And they acted really well as like kind of like scarecrows to the people that weren't used to it, really just eating their Wendy's. Like he would kind of chase the crowds away, or like if I fell asleep doing my homework and I was late to work, he was kind of like an alarm clock. But usually I'd get woken up by him about 5 or 6, and I'd head to work, and everything kind of changed afterward. There wasn't anything that was average about it. I mean, usually someone would come through swinging a metal pole, but it'd be a different person each time. That was kind of average, but it was just kind of something new. And then once the spring started, like our population was probably about 70% men. So like the men in the parking lot, they're like the trees, like they pollinate. They just like, we had to have a family meeting about like acceptable and unacceptable masturbation and stuff like that. I had no idea, but I mean, I'm in a parking lot with, that was a thing. It's like pollen. And like, so I mean, that was kind of like an average day was, does he have his pants off again?
How many
He's like, I
of
have a
them were
broken
male
leg.
comedians?
Yeah,
it's really like you haven't left comedy really.
Right?
Yeah, like Louis and all that. Yeah.
Damn. So what was it? So again, like, cause I remember you were in like a community. I remember one of them, you were saying you were having a barbecue one afternoon or something.
Yeah, because I'm afraid to keep propane in my car, and I keep telling my friend I love him, and I'll probably, each day I cherish as his last because he keeps propane tanks in his car. But he heats up the grill, and like usually, I mean, I'll put in like my EBT, and we'll go get some meat or something, and we'll have like a barbecue. And like one time we even there was one of the shopping carts got left there. We just put the shopping cart to the side. We're all sitting there having beer, and like one of my friends, he wiped his face, and we didn't realize because we were right by a field that we each had like a layer of dirt on our face, but I guess we didn't notice because we all had like dirt on our face. So I only imagine like what the IHOP people thought when they pull in. We're just sitting there on the grocery cart with all the beers and the meat and dirty faces, but we were having fun. Like we were having the time of our life. But that's what made me have to leave too, is because I get really attached to people, and one by one, I can't be mad at them. They're finding places to go and places to live. But that's when I decided to finally just go, and I don't know, now I'm all kind of scared to make friends. Now I miss them and stuff. But that was what made it like, it was cool. It was like we were hanging out.
Yeah. The community. So Thomas is back here. Let's check in with him and see how how's your audio there, Thomas?
Hey, I figured it would work for the homeless girl. Might as well try it in my van too, right?
Working. It's working.
Welcome back, Thomas Mayfield. There he is.
I thought I destroyed my laptop. My laptop's still on there. It's still the thing on the ground.
It still is. Exactly.
I bet if we unmuted it, it would still fuck everything up. It's amazing.
I haven't even tried. No, I like looking at it now. It just looks, fucking beat the fuck up.
I can't wait to see the replay where it just flies through the air and lands on the ground. It's gonna be great. I stepped on top of it.
I forgot.
Still working, I think.
The thing was, I forgot to start recording at the time, so I don't. I mean, I'm recording now, so you can see it now and whatnot. So Actually, it's good that I started the recording later, so that way Erie can think that I played the usual theme music to the podcast, and she won't hear me, trashing the song she likes to play. She ain't gonna watch it this far into it anyway, so don't worry about it. So to catch you up on what we asked Kristin here. First question here, Thomas, is actually, let me get the wrong background for this. First question is, how are you holding up currently?
I'm holding up all right. During the whole pandemic, I think it's a little blown out of proportion. I mean, I don't know anybody. I don't know only one person that's sick. So.
All right.
You guys know people that are sick.
I knew some people that were sick.
I know people who died. So just.
Oh, really?
She knows people who died. So I know people who almost died, but I don't even know them that well. One of them I did drugs with in 2000. So and he plays drums in Death Angel. So I mean, if you're playing drums in Death Angel and you're not courting death, are you really metal?
Yeah, exactly.
I knew was the president of the American Psychological Association.
Boom, Thomas, take that shit, you and your host.
I thought the same thing though, Thomas. Like when this first started happening, I was like, I don't know anybody that has it, and I don't know anybody who knows anybody that has it. Like, is this real?
Right. It was very real. There was a guy who secretaried 2 NA meetings before even the quarantine took place, who knew he had it, and he even told a meeting. He told a group of people after everybody was already told, like before they officially did the shelter in place, he told the group that Saturday that he had COVID and he doesn't know what the big deal is, and he's coughing and all that shit. And all those people had to go back to the homeless shelter that they were staying at and tell them that they were with this guy. And they put that all on quarantine, and then NA was like on a tear trying to get a hold of this guy, and I'm one of the few people who knew a guy who knew his number. So it was that was pretty fun. All right, so Thomas is good, doesn't believe that it's real, and
I don't believe it's not real. I didn't say that, but it's blown out of proportion.
Let me put words in your mouth, all right? That's if we can't do sensationalistic journalism, what good are we? The next question that you missed, Thomas, is do you miss stand-up at all?
Yes and no. It's kind of a loaded question there. I'd say that I'm always like this. I'm always goofing around, having a good time. But to me, like stand up is like going to war. It's like I'm trying to beat a joke out of you. So I'm trying to do all I can to get a laugh. And if I don't get it, then I lost. That's a defeating feeling. But no, I really don't. I don't miss it because not really.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, that's a good answer. Nice and concise. What is your average day like, Thomas?
Let's see. My average day. See, I start working about 4 o'clock in the morning. Work about a couple hours, and then get off about 9. And then I proceed to find all the free stuff I can on Craigslist and venture around the beautiful town of Palo Alto and swoop up the things these rich people throw out. And clean it up and sell it on the flea market,
So that's what are you doing work-wise right now?
I work at Michael's.
That's right. Oh, that's right. You're working at Michael's.
Yeah.
Are you working the graveyard shift still, or?
Yeah.
Oh,
I only work part-time.
I love the graveyard shift.
Melanie just perked up upon hearing that he works
at Michael's. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Discount.
The Michael's in Palo Alto, Thomas?
The one in Mountain View, where I work now.
Mountain View, Melanie, not far from you. Look for Thomas Grave, or do you work during store hours, or you're working there when it's closed?
I work when it's closed. When it opens up, I leave because I don't want to help people.
Well, are you willing to sell? Are you willing to sell under the table, like shit? There you go. You got your hookup right there, Melanie. So
yes.
Thomas Mayfield, he's in my friends list. Go ahead and add him and scam Michaels for all they're worth.
Yo, Thomas, hey man, I need some of those little styrofoam balls for my planetarium. Can you hook it up?
Yeah,
I can get them for you. I can get them 30% off.
That's
I steal them.
Thomas is good for that kind of stuff, and that was the thing. Thomas started one of the reasons why I was he for a while. Anybody who knows that I sell buttons, my first batch of buttons were from Thomas, and he made them homemade. in a very, I've never seen buttons like this, but he made them by hand. They had plastic backings to them, and just we learned a lot about buttons through both him making them and me purchasing them off of him. And I'm not going to go into as
I
much.
did complain about the price. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we had to. Yeah, Thomas didn't know what to charge me. So anyway, but it helped him out. But he ended up getting into making knickknacks and yeah, getting into flea market. I guess concessions. What was the Superfluous? Is that still your company, or Dirty Kitchen?
No, Dirty Kitchen, but kitchen like kitchen art.
Yeah.
Dirty Kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah. And so talk a little about that.
Well, I started off making I love stickers. I'm a sticker file, but I can't break the holy oath of putting a sticker on something. So I decided to start making magnets out of them. And from there, I made the magnets, and then I decided to sell them at the flea market, and that worked. And then I just kind of went from there. I started buying everything. I started reinvesting, and now I have this empire that you see behind me.
That is his car loaded up with all the stuff. Yeah, check it out.
To the gills.
So, I mean, if you saw Thomas in his car, you would think that. I mean, he's got more stuff than Kristin does in her car. Like lots of room in Kristin's car. I mean, she's got.
I think I saw a dog in hers, right? I think I got a dog in mine somewhere.
It's a cat. She has a cat, actually.
Oh, it's a cat. My bad.
Yeah. So.
Again, Metro PCS. Sorry.
Actually, it's working great now, Thomas. So, all right. Our next question here. So this one's for Kristin, starting off. If people were trying to do what you are doing right now, what advice would you give them?
Well, I would say right now wouldn't be the best time to try it because everything's like crazy. Like it's totally different than how it would normally be. But the biggest thing would be to do research because there's a lot of information online and a lot of testimonials from people who have chosen to do the same thing. Whether you're doing it to save money or if it's a lifestyle choice, you want to travel or any reason, there actually are a lot of people that do it. I would also say don't worry about what people think. There are going to be people that think that you're really down and out when you're not. And even if you are, the biggest part is just not worrying what other people are going to think about you. But if you are living with your cat, the litter box was always that was a challenge. That was trial and error because not only is it unpleasant, but it's toxic to breathe in. And first we tried using like one of those little storage bags on the roof of my car. But not only did that get holes and it rained and I woke up with like a cat litter soup, like it was really, really bad. But it also, I decided to wrap it in a plastic bag in there, which then went on to like, I think it was 680. It all went, so luckily no one died. I wouldn't suggest doing that, but what I've tried now is like an airtight container and I just have to keep opening it for her to take turns and that seals in all the odors. So if anyone's traveling with a cat, and they actually can be trained really well, she actually sits next to me. I stopped doing that because in shelter in place, everyone started driving really crazy and I don't want to risk her being in an accident, but she was always content just sitting like right next to me when we pull up. And this one lady at the gas station got so impressed. She's like, how do you get your cat to do that? Do you travel? I was like, well, kind of, but actually cats are really good at traveling. It's just making sure that they stay, cool and the litter box thing and all that. But that's my advice.
Gotcha. Nice. Yeah, because I remember when I first found out you were living in your car, I remember contacting you and asking you how you were doing and stuff, and you were like, "Oh no, I'm good." Like, you're just kind of breaking it down to me, and I was like, "Okay, all right." So just check in with Kristin when I can.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. That meant a lot to me that you reached out.
Well, no, because also you missed us. She was at our when Nina G and I last December. Was it December? Yeah, when we were performing at LMC. And and you were there, but we got swarmed by like 3 kids.
Yeah, I'm weird too. I did that too. I think it was Jesus Cruz. He invited me to one of his, and I went to his. I think it was Tommy T's. And I just went by him, and I'm like, hi, and then I ran away. He's like, no, come back. I was like, I'm weird.
No, we would have been totally happy to. I mean, we would have told those kids to get the fuck out of there and talk to you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, actually, I was talking to an alcoholic kid. I remember. Am I right, Nina? Yeah, there was that one kid. So, okay. So, and now let's look at it. So, Thomas,
Yes.
If since you're in the flea market underworld, what if and Michael's graveyard underworld, if people were trying to do what you are doing right now, what advice would you give them?
To do what I was doing, I wouldn't really suggest doing it, but I would say if you're going to sell, so you want to try to sell some, find a niche. You know, I know people that sell just certain things. Some crazy lady sells just dolls. Some guy who sells just flags. You know, find something you can do. It's like a craft. You know, it's find something you're good at and do it.
A brand, if you will. That's what they.
Yes, your
brand.
niche.
So, I'm gonna open this up to my co-hosts. You have any questions for Kristin or Thomas at this point, guys? Just fun to watch them think out loud. Look at them. Look at them. They both put thinking faces on them. Yeah.
Well, okay. So, Thomas, are you like, because you work at a craft store and because you sell stuff at the flea market, and it seems like you're creative in lots of different ways, do you have like a preferred thing that you love to do? Is there like something that you're extra passionate about?
A bass player. I'm a pretty good bass player. What else? I'm doing a lot of painting lately. About it.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with the flea market.
That's got to do with the flea market. Yeah, exactly. That's just, it's kind of, I guess I'm not multifaceted. That sounds very stuck up. I mean, I don't know. I just do a lot of shit.
I remember the bass playing because we've used your bass amp for a PA.
Oh yeah.
At the open mic a couple times.
We've never played, Dave. We got to play with each other. Well,
oh, I'm sure it'll be awful, Thomas. My music days are behind me, so it's you know, I don't know.
Uplifting.
I mean, I'll keep it. Actually, I would jam with you on drums. I'll play drums, and yeah, and then you can play bass because yeah, I can humor people much easier on the drums.
I remember our grindcore karaoke. That was fun.
Grindcore. Oh yeah, I do some screaming to some pop hits.
Yeah,
John, do you have any questions for Kristin or Thomas?
Yeah, maybe Kristin, I was wondering, like, where do you see yourself in like 10 years?
Well, my goal is I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years, but I mean, I would just be happy getting like a little RV or trailer and just finding like a little spot. But realistically, I think I'm just going to lose my mind and just go running into the bush, like just be a bush woman, like a crazy recluse. Just make
Sounds like a
something
short-term goal.
No litter box for that.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I'm just kind of going little by little. I just want to have like just a place, like just
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it looks like the Mean Dave parents are asking if you ever take your cat on a walk on a leash.
That's the thing is I've been having the darndest time trying to get a harness that fits her. And the ones I had before, she actually was able to do a backflip and get out of. So now that it's hotter, I've gotten 2 leashes, but they don't fit. But I've been taking her out in her crate, and what I'm hopefully going to do is I'm going to get like a stroller for her. That way I can, you know, once she gets relaxed in it, I can just put a sheet over her, and then we could go into stores and stuff together. But yeah, I've been meaning to get her some kind of harness so that she can go out finally, because she has pretty much been in here besides the one time she got out, but she didn't go very far, luckily. But yeah.
Is she, if she does get out, does she just linger around the car? She doesn't really like run off?
Yeah, it was my fault because I had the door propped open and I was talking to my friend who used to park like directly in front of me, and we were just like chatting. And he was looking at me and he goes, "Your cat's out," like really calm because he knew not to like jump at her or anything. And I was like, "No, she's not." And I look over and she's just walking like by the bumper. And then she went under my car and I felt bad. I had to grab her by her back legs.
Oh shit.
Yeah, she was okay though. But that was the only time she really got out. The second time again, I had my door open and she just plopped out and I was able to just pick her up.
Mm-hmm.
But once I do start taking her out, I know because she's really good with boundaries. She's really hesitant. But once I open that up, I know it's going to be tougher. But yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Good questions. Okay. And so this next question here, I think this is good here. Get my backgrounds. Find the appropriate background for this one here. And so, how has the pandemic and or social or civil unrest affected you? We'll start with you, Thomas.
It hasn't really affected me at all. Just
That's
Get
right.
ready.
You got all your friends are in good health, and
No, I'm from East Palo Alto, so I'm ready for a ride any day.
yeah, you're far away from people of color. You live in East Palo Alto. Actually, here's an interesting thing. I'm gonna put Tom on blast here. Tom technically looks like a white man, but he lives in an apartment where, I mean, he speaks more Spanish than I do. And you got the vibe of like every white Mexican in, like, in Blood In, Blood Out, Bound by Honor, or any of those movies, American Me. So he's a white man who dresses like a Mexican, and not to put him in further thing, but you're also familiar with some of the harder side of life, if you will.
Yes.
Yes. So
School of Hard Knocks.
yes, School of Hard Knocks. And yet somehow managed to maintain a seemingly upbeat attitude. How is that?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. A lot of people ask me why I keep smiling. I said, I don't know. I mean, because
Probably for the best.
everything's funny to me. Everything's hilarious. So, I find everything funny. So people are stabbing each other in the street. I find it funny. I find a joke about everything.
And how you couldn't translate it on stage is beyond me, because I mean, it's one of those things where we've Thomas and I spent some very fun nights. Normally most people when they do, like, drugs like cocaine, they like to be in party atmospheres. Thomas and I, we like to walk by ourselves, but with each other. And then we went to a few bars, and then what did we do? We went to FCC free radio and proceeded to try to sleep for 2 to 3 hours until like 6 a.m. the next day.
I believe it was on top of strangers' cars too. Probably people went onto their cars and found a little.
That's right. Actually, it's not the first time I've seen cocaine be. We did cocaine off the hood of someone's car in San Francisco. It was a nice car though.
Good times.
Yes.
Was it?
And then
Was
the
it a car, or was it like?
it was a black car. It was a black car. That would just be stupid to do it on any other color, because then you might
see it better at night that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
You worried, Nina, that it was white and they missed some?
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, I just know my car is really dirty that you're gonna get other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No, it looked clean. I mean, I have to say, it did look clean. But
we bucked like a 3-inch square off of the car, and then we did it right there.
The other time I've seen cocaine be done off of a car, I was sober. I was in recovery. Went to do the Crazy Horse open mic, which is the strip club mic that was out here in San Francisco, and I was with comedian Jen Gonzalez, and it was the first time we'd went there, and we stayed for the feature dance, the late one, so it's like 3 a.m. That was the dance where it was the first time we saw it too, and this woman. We were in the splash zone, as we learned, because some fluids got on Jen, and she also got a free lap dance too. It was Dillian Harper, if you want to know the porn star who did it. So, yeah, it was really funny because Jen was very uncomfortable, and but she was a good sport. Like, she wasn't like, she didn't like have to blog about it and have a Me Too experience.
Did it, like, go in her face, or like?
It was not even like that much. It was just like I was dying because it was like we didn't know it was gonna happen.
I'm surprised I mean, that happened once to Baba Booey, and it got into his eye, and he was afraid he was going to get herpes in his eye.
The majority of it stayed on the stage. It was just a little that fell on us. And
it's
so,
like a Gallagher show. Like,
yeah,
I didn't know.
very much so. That's what I did not anticipate this to happen. But then we
smashed her watermelon. It's a vagina.
Yeah, she had, it was a sledge-o-matic of her clitoris. So we
Dave's mom liked that one a lot.
Oh yeah, my parents are adults. They're good. I don't want to get an email from my mom telling me how filthy the show was later.
Candy comes back.
But and then me and Jen, we walked to her car. It's 3:30 in the morning, the Tenderloin, mind you. And we're approaching, and as we're getting closer, I was kind of realizing that, because I knew we were going to the right spot, but it looked like something was up, and I was like, is that your car? And there were clearly dudes that were all around her car, had a bunch of stuff on her car, and I was worried that it was being broken into. And as we get closer, I was like, Jen, kind of hang back, and I get a little closer, and I'm like, oh, they're just doing drugs. We're good. and I rolled up. They basically had set up shop on her car. It was I think it was her mom's car, and they had backpacks and all this stuff, and they were doing either cocaine or I'm pretty sure it was cocaine. They were doing it all like lines on her car, and I just walked up to these guys. I said, "Excuse me, guys. I don't want to interrupt the party, but that's my friend's car, and we got to go." And I swear to God, Tenderloin, 3:30 in the morning, could not have been the nicer drug addicts on the street. They were like, "Oh my God, we're so sorry, we're sorry," and I mean, and they're taking their stuff off there, and they're finishing up, they're brushing it all off, like they it was so goddamn funny. And I mean, we were just relieved they weren't breaking into her car and breaking windows, but and it was so funny is these guys, I think they realized that once that it was the girl's car, like she goes up and one of the guys, it was the most sweetest display of like almost chivalry. She goes up to the door and he goes, oh, wait a minute, hang on. And he like further dusts off whatever was on the car. and she goes, oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it. it was like once,
this is a better interaction than all of those tech fucks in San Francisco.
It truly was. I think it was so. I just felt like the guy, like once he saw that she was like cute, he's like, "Oh man, I got to impress her. Let me really get this cocaine off her car."
That's gonna do it. That's gonna get him the date.
Oh God, yeah, exactly. Oh, look at this guy.
I won't clean up personally, but I'll clean your car up. There you go.
It was so fucking funny. All right, so good. All right, that was good extracting. We got to fill time, Thomas, and your answers are so short. Kristin, how has the pandemic and or the civil unrest lately affected you?
The worst part was when the gyms got shut down, because that was our bathrooms.
That's
and
right.
then one by one, all the public restrooms were shut down. So at that point, it was normal for me to have to shit in a bucket. I did learn that they sell like portable toilets for $30, but you could just go get a Home Depot one and you put in a bag. And if you got the money, so it's expensive, you just put in cat litter and it clumps and it makes
Got
it
on
a lot.
hand. We're smart.
But the thing is, at that point, me and my cat, we did have like kind of issues about whose cat litter boxes is whose. But I'll never look at a Home Depot bucket again the same, because now a lot of people, they'll pull out their buckets and I'm like, what, they got their toilet out there for? But curiosity is never going to kill me, because like if I see a Home Depot bucket with its lid, I'm never going to open one again in my life. Like I'll never look at it the same.
Yeah.
But also with the unrest, when I guess Brentwood had gotten a credible threat online about being looted.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to go ahead and shut down Pittsburgh too, even though Pittsburgh's not about shit. Like there's nothing in that Walmart. And like, well, my friends loot it every day, all day anyway. Like there's nothing in there. So they decided to do a curfew. And they supposedly have like this little program. It's called CARE, where the people are supposed to bring us stuff, like homeless people stuff. I've been in one spot and they've only brought me like 2 bottles of warm water and like a N95 jockstrap. It was like really fucking weird. I was going to keep it for the show, but my friend ended up using it and I just told him to go ahead and keep it. But anyhow, they did the curfew. So we didn't have anything after, I think it was like, a lot of them started closing at like 4. So we had nothing. We couldn't go into the stores, anything. And I was going to call the care and be like, no, where are you guys at? Come bring us some beer and cigarettes and stuff. We had absolutely nothing. But for the most part, it's just, we have a spigot out there too. A lot of us will soap up and use the spigot. I don't use it that much because there was a guy there that I was pretty sure I caught masturbating once. And I told him he could stay here, technically don't come here, but, at least have your pants on. The guy never had his pants on. He'd always open the door and was like, I don't know. So I couldn't really get in the spigot because now it's the spring and everyone's, I didn't want to wet myself down and start, asking for it. But yeah, it's just basically just trying to keep ourselves, clean and all that stuff. It's been really difficult during the pandemic. And then, just kind of, I think how the homeless are kind of viewed, because like watching like the press conferences and stuff, I've never felt so outside of society, because they talk about the homeless, but they never talk like to us about what we're supposed to do. And then I'm finding out that a lot of the stuff that they say are like, they're not really even doing anyway. They just claim they are. But then going online and stuff, a lot of people are scared about, opening everything back up because the homeless are still out there. So sometimes I get scared that I'm one of the zombies in the apocalypse. Everyone's going to be afraid of me if they know that I'm that girl from the parking lot. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's kind of changed how I kind of view everything. I think I'm a little bit traumatized, but I'll be okay.
Wow. Right on. Thanks, Kristin.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so we are getting near the end of our show here, and so our next question is, we get the proper background here. Any plugs or shout outs that you want to give? So I guess we'll start with you, Kristin. Do you need to plug anything or any shout outs to anyone out there?
Well, I mean, other than like my personal things, do I need to plug? Nothing else do I plug. But I'd like to give a shout out to Dave and Nina. Like, Dave, awesome. Thank you for all the opportunities you've given me. And Nina, like, it was so awesome. Like when I was in LMC and I was walking through the little like quad area and I saw like your face and Nina G and all that. And it was really exciting to see that. So that's why I went and saw the show. And it's cool that you got your book and stuff. And it was really awesome. So shout out to you guys.
And let me know if you need any help with classes and stuff, because that's my day job. So let me know.
You live in Brentwood, huh? I heard her.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
now in my kitchen. So
yeah. Well, thank you.
He's working from home.
Yeah.
All right, Thomas. Any plugs or shout outs? You better plug your fucking dirty kitchen.
Well, yeah, you can IG me at Dirty Kitchen, KITSCHEN. Shout out to Metro PCS for making me smash my laptop at my house. And that's about it.
You better not have smashed. Did you really smash the thing? Oh, God.
Yes, I did. The price is still working. I jumped on top of it.
You threw a man tantrum.
I did. It's been a long day, man. It's been a long day. I'm tired.
Stupid laptop.
I guess that would be a good time to also say, if you wish to donate to our guests tonight here, please, you can Venmo at mean-dave-225, and I will make sure that they get funds to them. There you go. Also, or whatchamacallit? Was it? Oh, I got the background for that too. So, John, what are you up to, man? You got any plugs or shout outs you need to make here?
I don't think so.
No? You got nothing?
Nothing. I got nothing.
All right. Okay. It's fine and dandy. Nina, any plugs or shout outs you need to do?
Here, I'll show, of course, the Stutterer. Everything just fell. The Stutterer Interrupted, and of course, Once Upon an Accommodation, illustrated by Mean Dave and written by me.
That's the book.
And then he has my book, the other book.
Yeah.
And then what am I on after this, Dave?
Oh, we're going to do the Suzette Vanetti show. If anybody wants to watch it on Twitch, I think.
And I think it's on Zoom too, right?
It's Twitch. That's Stab Comedy. It's like Stab Comedy on Twitch or whatever.
Okay.
It's a fun. I mean, it'll be fun. If you really want to watch it, yeah, I'll hit me up. I'll shoot you the link. Do it. I do a check-in segment too.
And Thursday we have our Pride show.
The Pride Comedian Show and Tell. That's right.
Working comedians.
Yeah, we're fucking busy there, John. Hey, John was on a show last night. He was a working comedian technically last night.
For a minute.
All right. So, do we have any final words from our guests here, Kristin? Anything you'd like to say?
Oh no, just thank you for having me on. Like, it's my first Zoom thing, and it wasn't bad. It was cool. Thank
You did great. You did great.
It wasn't bad.
Real good.
You're awesome. So, and yeah.
Thank you.
Just so you know, yes, Deneen, she's in southern, she's in like the San Luis Obispo area.
Yeah, central. Yep.
Yeah, central, and then my parents, they're in Ukiah, and so if you ever go into those territories, I'll make sure that you have to visit them, and
Thank you.
so we need to help each other out. And then Thomas, what about you, man? Any final words?
No final words, really. Go get it.
Go get it.
Get that money.
All right, everybody. So I think that's been our show, everybody. Thank you once again, all our wonderful audience, for being here.
Thank you.
They get the damn song playing again. Look at this. There we go. Hell yeah. Thanks again, everybody, for being Luis, Mabel. Mabel, thanks for joining us again. Melanie,
Thank you.
awesome. Denise, awesome. Jason, awesome.
There's
Terrence,
Hi,
awesome.
everyone.
Happy Father's Day.
Good evening.
Hey.
Happy Father's Day, Mark.
Bye.
And I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys next week. Next week, actually, I mean, not this Thursday, but next Sunday, I will be at their house doing this show. So we'll,
Oh,
yeah, so
cool.
I'll be zooming live from Ukiah. So that'll be fun.
Yay.
All right, guys, have a great week, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
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 My laptop smashed the house.